We are live. Andrew, happy Saturday.
Afternoon, Jim.
Happy Saturday to you, my friend. How are you?
Yeah, really good, Jim. Just got home. We'll just at the office before conducting our online auctions once again, and back in lockdown, unfortunately.
Well, here we are again, right? Lockdown hashtag number 6.0. Who would have thought, right? We managed to stay out of lockdown for a week. I think it was just over a week, wasn't it? It was 8 days. We came back Wednesday or whatever it was, and life was starting to get back to normal, sort of, or whatever normal is going to be. But I actually think that this is now going to be our normal, Andrew, in and out of lockdown.
I think so, Jim, until I suppose whatever they figure out. It's going to be a new normal for a little while, by the looks of it. So, unfortunately, and we keep saying it, we do feel sorry for a lot of the small businesses out there, especially the snap lockdown. That really does hurt a lot of our friends and family that are in small businesses as well. So, to them, we definitely reach out to them as well.
Well, you know, I've got to tell you, mate, my wife and I were fortunate enough on Wednesday night, not knowing that Thursday we were going to go into lockdown, but on Thursday night we went to a new restaurant in the city that part of the Chris Lucas Group, Society restaurant, which has been a long time in the making, and it's now open. And we went there on Wednesday night with some friends. We got invited along, and it just blew me away to see the investment that this man, Chris Lucas, has put into this venue. It is, Andrew, out of control. It's New York.
I've seen a few photos. It's unbelievable.
It's to Melbourne. And then we go to Thursday, and at 4:30 they call a snap lockdown from 8 o'clock. And I've got to tell you, the first thing that came to mind was the tens of thousands of dollars of food, of stock. There are some things they can give away to the less privileged, but all of that goes to waste. And you know, we've got plenty of friends in hospitality, you know, Ravi at the Botanical, you know, the George Parra and everybody up at Roasting Warehouse, and heaps of clients, Peter Rajke, of course, with Village Food Store, and lots of friends that have got food premises, and my heart just broke for all of these people that just, you know, they had 2 or 3 hours to just decide, what do I do? What do I do with my staff? What do I do with the food? Anyway, we've spoken about it before, but shout out to everybody in hospitality and everybody that's been doing it tough. More importantly for us as well, Andrew, we had to pivot and change and transition again, and thank goodness we've done it before, right? And,
yeah, definitely, 100%. Experienced at it now, so we knew exactly what to do. So we just went ahead and did it. Simple as that.
Exactly. So we had 4 auctions scheduled for this Saturday, Andrew, and that's on the back of having to do some last week and then having to change some auctions because we didn't think they'd had enough time of buyers to get the opportunity to look at them. But we went into today with 4. Now, we ended up selling one of them on Wednesday, I believe, Andrew.
Yeah, Wednesday night, 83 Water Valley Drive in Hillside. Lovely vendors there, John and Linda. So shout out to John and Linda. Gorgeous double-story home. But that property there, the standout for that home there was the outdoor area. That gorgeous botanical, just that outdoor pool as well. A beautiful home, and it's got a really strong offer before auction. A couple other buyers got involved and sold prior to auction. So congratulations to all involved.
Yeah, that was a great result. So this morning we started off with a property at 28 Peppermint Grove in Taylors Hill, and a great campaign run there by Lass and Chintzia and Ashley. And so we ended up with that one, Andrew. We had, I think, 7 bidders registered. 4 of them were active.
Active buyers.
And really strong outcomes, sold for $920,000. We were delighted with that. And then an hour later, we moved to what we now know is a new record, a new benchmark for a single-level home of its size in Keilor Downs with 24 Swindon Crescent, where we had 14 registered bidders. I don't know how many, and 7 active bidders. So tell us what happened there, Andrew.
Look, wonderful repeat clients of ours. They purchased the property around 8 years ago. Since then, they've done a really good renovations throughout the property. Great spot in Swindon Crescent. Again, as you said, a number of buyers registered, and a great call, by the way, from yourself again. And that property sold. Yeah, that property sold for $899,000. So a great result out there in Keilor Downs.
Yeah, and congratulations to John, I think it was, that secured that one.
Yep, correct, in Sydney.
What, sorry?
He's John lives in Sydney, and
interstate bidder, interstate buyer. Right?
And the person that actually missed out, Derek, who actually purchased the next property we're going to mention, physically never seen the property before. Called me last night that wanted to register. So obviously he called and confirmed and went through some details. And again, technology, we had first-class photography, first-class video available, and he was more than comfortable enough to see or bid online from what he saw. And yeah, he just missed out.
So here's an interesting thing, right? Derek, who missed out, bid to $898,000. Let's go. Yeah. John secured it. So John's interstate in New South Wales. He buys the property. The underbidder, one of the 7, hasn't seen it, but he takes it right up, and he's the underbidder. He then jumps on and bids at our next auction, which was 35 Copernicus Way in Keilor Downs, and a lovely lady vendor there, Annette. And I'll preface it by saying that Annette went through a bit of a journey. She had her property on the market, Andrew, for the best part of 6 or 7 months with another local agent. They auctioned it twice and didn't sell it. And she was at the point where, she's an older woman, she's wanting to downsize, she put a hold on a block of land, and it was all hinging on her selling her house. Her sons obviously are helping her along the way and guiding her through the process. We sold a property a couple of doors away, number 2 Fiat Court, a few months ago. They came to the auction, they saw us do that. They then invited us into their property and said, we've taken it off the market, we've had it with another agent. What are we going to do? Now, we know that second time in, when a property's still been on the market with another agent, it's actually a tougher gig, right? Because the property's been exposed, they've changed the price a few times, all the rest of it. We sat down, we analysed what they'd been through, and we put together a strategy, and we put together a plan. Michael Costa ran a brilliant campaign there, by the way, and we turned out today where we had, I think, 6 active bidders on that property. And, funnily enough, our advice 2 days ago was perhaps we should postpone it by another week. That was our
short campaign.
It had only had a week and a half.
Yep.
The market, 2 weeks maximum of us being able to work on it. Anyway, they really said, no, let's just run with it. And that was against our advice, right? We ran with it. We ended up with 5 or 6 bidders and ended up selling it way over their reserve. And the person that missed out on our 12 o'clock auction ended up securing this one, Derek. So big shout out to him. Paid $753,000, and for that one,
3-bedroom, 1 bathroom.
A 3-bedroom, 1 bathroom property on a 650 square metre block in original condition. So big shout out to Derek securing a great home, and congratulations to our vendors with that one there, Andrew. So great outcomes, right? But more importantly, we came out of lockdown on the last Thursday. So we had 1 week, and in that 1 week, there's been a strong bounce back, which we've always predicted, having been through 5 previous lockdowns. And no sooner, Andrew, I've got to say, big shout out to you and our team, and importantly to you, because you've been crook since Sunday and you haven't been in the office all week because you weren't well. But a shout out to your team, to Justin and to Dario particularly, and the rest of the guys who all helped out, and the girls, on doing a ripper job, because we had a really busy week, Andrew. There were a lot of private negotiations as well, right?
Yeah, so correct. Strong week.
Do you want to cover off on some of them?
Yeah, Jim. Well, we had 12 Highbury Drive, which the boys, as you mentioned, Dario and Justin, worked really strongly on. We had a property currently tenanted, and that property there rented with an outer area agency. So the vendor obviously decided to sell the property with an agency, obviously in the local area. Had that off market, took a few buyers of properties that obviously sold recently. So the team managed that well, took the buyers through the door, and that property sold for a great result, $813,000 for 12 Highbury Drive in Hillside.
Fantastic. On top of that, we finalised in the last week 3 Franklin Place in Caroline Springs at 565, 11 Armott Place in Hillside at 650, 57 Speargrass. Tell us about that one, Andrew.
Jim, that is also a very strong result in the area. Vendors are over the moon. The gentleman that bought that home actually bought it for his son, getting married over the next couple of months. A brilliant family home. A home probably about 36, 38 squares of living. We're marketing that property $740,000 to $780,000. We received a very strong offer on that property for $850,000. So once again, strong offer. So again, way above our quote range. So as we always say, if we receive a strong offer, we're always happy to sell them prior to auction. Our vendors are more than happy to sell it. So we called the buyers that, of course, came through open for inspections. There were still a couple of buyers there that were still interested. Yep. And we sold that property prior to auction and sold that for $930,000. So a very strong result.
That was a fantastic outcome. And on top of that, Andrew, we had a couple of other sales as well that we transacted. And one was in Buckingham, Unit 1, 14 Buckingham Street, Sydenham. Sash Matreski from our team managed to get that one secured. And then one that gave me personally a lot of satisfaction, Andrew, was a property at 45 Nordic Avenue in the Keilor Lodge estate. Now, there's a property that, you know, we had that on the market for a few weeks. Previously to lockdown 5, it was supposed to go to auction. We decided to postpone it. Yep. We effectively took the property off the market. And a couple of buyers that had seen the property during the campaign, we reached out to them. We got an offer. We got some competition. We started negotiating. And this week, that was the job from Monday through to Wednesday, was negotiating that transaction. And it sold to some vendors of yours that are the most beautiful young family. We are just absolutely delighted for them to secure a lifestyle property, but also equally just so happy for our vendors who are local business people that are retiring and moving into state. They're rapt that a wonderful family has secured their property. The neighbours are rapt that a young family is moving in to enjoy a beautiful home on a half acre with a tennis court. So that personally, that transaction really gave me and you, I know, a lot of satisfaction. So delighted with that too, Andrew.
Yeah, definitely, Jim. A wonderful home, great location, and it's just as I mentioned to my clients when we first took them through. You know, it's one of those properties. No matter what you paid for it today, in years to come, you just simply can't regret it. You know, it's you know, it's just as soon as you step outside to that backyard, especially when you have young kids, and I'm obviously got a young family myself. It'll be amazing to see the kids grow up, right? So, congratulations to all parties.
Now, Andrew, while we're on it, I just want to, if I can, because while we're talking to you, you can see I'm looking down. I'm getting messages coming through on my phone. So, first of all, a massive shout out to our team. 21 sales in the last week. 21 transactions by our team in the last week. I'll say that again. 21 transactions in the last week. Which, you know, we're not saying that to blow our trumpet, but I'm saying it because that's 21 sellers, 21 vendors that needed to transact, and more importantly, 21 groups of buyers that now have achieved what they wanted to achieve. So it's a massive effort when we're coming in and out of lockdown, because as you know, Andrew, while we're in lockdown, we don't stop working.
No.
Right? You know, we're one of the fortunate industries where if it drags on, we're the same as everyone else. We can't show anybody a house right now. But with what we can do with technology, we're still able to at least do our best to assist and help people look at the house remotely, provide remote appraisals. We can list their property remotely. We can even show it to people remotely using technology. So at least we can sort of work, but we know that it sets everything up for us for when we come out of lockdown, right?
Yeah, spot on, Jim. I think I mentioned this a couple of times. We base how the market's traveling based on inquiry. And I always say when we're in lockdown, it is stressful because we know as soon as we get out of lockdown, we've got so many inquiries to get back to, right? I think it counted the last time we locked in over 300 inquiries we had to get back to. So, as you mentioned, well, hats off to the team because that is a lot of people that you need to contact. And each person needs to be contacted, right? We're all about service. We always say that. That's why we have a point of difference, and we've always said that's our strength, right? And a lot of people don't understand that's actually, probably the most stressful thing to do is to get back to all those inquiries, get those buyers into those homes. But look, we love it, and that's what we do, and we do it every single day, right? And yes, again, we're back in lockdown again, but we're still here to help people. Simple as that.
I'll give you some numbers. They're just coming through now. So Barry Plant Group, Andrew, today, 39 online options sold out of 42. So 39 out of 42. So there's only 3 that didn't sell. 93% success rate. More importantly, here's another interesting stat that's just been posted on our group site. Today's auctions averaged 170 viewers average per property. Wow. Now, the market across Melbourne is looking like sitting at around 90% success rate. But some big results across Melbourne too, Andrew. I'll mention a couple. Our team out at Rowville, 33 Superior Drive, sold for $2,350,000. In Niddry, 40 Newman Street, Billy Carp and the team sold 40 Newman Street for $1,921,000. Noble Park, sales out there at $650,000. Out in Kilmore, 505. Another one in Wentworth, out at Diamond Creek, had 140 plus people viewing. 2 sales out in one in Epping for $620,000, another one at $820,000 out at Thomastown, another one at Chadstone at $1.3 million. So, we're seeing results right across the board in all suburbs. Harry can toss us out at Reservoir with Ross and the team there, 3 out of 4 sold. Really strong result in Pascoe at 59 Balmoral Avenue. Andrew had just over 160 groups of people watching it. Airport West, another one at 1,140,000. Diamond Creek. There's some strong sales all over Melbourne. So we look at it and we say, well, what does that tell us? It tells us what we know, that what we're seeing is a shortage of supply based on the available demand. Because the one thing that COVID has done, Andrew, you and I speak about this all the time with the team, the one thing that going through this pandemic has done is it has changed the way people live. It's changed the way we all live. So the demand for property is because a lot of people that work in town, in the city, or in an office somewhere, the vast majority of them are saying to us, we're not going to go back to working 5 days a week in the office. We might do 2 days or 3 days. So we want a bigger house. We want a home office. The kids are remote learning, or if they've got kids that are at uni. And then we've got the other ones that are selling because they want to go and change their lifestyle, again, for those reasons, and say they're going to go down by the beach or they're going to move into an apartment or whatever the case may be. But COVID has forced people to reassess, all of us included, to reassess and rethink the way that we're living our life, correct?
100% spot on, Jim. It's, the way we live at the moment, and everyone's, again, looking at property as a safe haven. We always say that. And hence why the property market is where it is, because people know that real estate's safe. It always has been, but COVID has just cemented that. Simple as that.
And the other interesting point, Andrew, just to raise, which I know we've covered before, in March last year, when this pandemic first took hold, and none of us knew what it was going to look like, the so-called experts, economists, bank economists, were predicting price falls of 30%, which was so irresponsible. It was a stupid prediction. Well, nothing could have been further from the truth. And here's my take. At the moment, we're seeing the market is pretty strong. The reality of it is if you're buying and selling in the same market conditions, it evens out. You're going to spend more when you're buying. You're going to get more when you're selling. So all of that evens out. What do you think is going to happen once we get through the world being vaccinated, which is what they're telling us we have to do, and once people can travel again? We haven't had migration for 2 years, best part of 2 years. And as a matter of fact, we're seeing numbers of Victorians dropping because a lot of people are moving out of Melbourne, going interstate. You know, a few months ago, everyone was saying they're going to move to Sydney because Melbourne was you know, up the creek. Well, you know, go to Sydney now if you want, with the benefit of a couple of months of experience under our belt. But what do you think is going to happen once the world finds its new normal? We're going to see a massive spike in migration because everyone is going to want to come and live in Melbourne. They want to come and live in Australia. So what do you think that's going to do? So to prices and demand.
Yeah, well, we've always been saying that. I've said that to even my friends and family as well, and everyone's asking my advice, what I think is going to be doing moving forward. And I have said exactly what you have said yourself. Once things open up and people are allowed to come back into the country and so forth, and migration, I just can't see the property prices slowing down, Jim. It might slow down in the short term between now and then, because obviously the market over the last few months has been the best we've ever seen. We keep saying that week in, week out. I definitely, you know, it might slow down for a little while, but once, you know, we get to a new normal and migration comes back in, yeah, Melbourne and you know, those cities, even Sydney, even though they're going through tough times at the moment, they're just going to surge. Simple as that.
Yeah, and I think, look, you know, we're seeing spikes in regional areas, right? So our offices through Ballarat, Bendigo, Geelong. I mean, look at Chari and the team out at Geelong, and Tim and you know, and Robert. You look at some of the numbers and some of the volumes, and we know volumes are strong everywhere, right? And we say there's a shortage. Well, there actually isn't a shortage. What there is that the demand is so strong, right? And so, you know, the easiest thing for an agent to say is, oh, there's not enough for sale. That's not quite right. You know, what it is that the demand is really strong because money's cheap and people want to move and people want to transact. And because last year what the government did and all the grants that they threw, a lot of the tenants became buyers. So, you know, it's a natural thing, right? All the stimulus was there. And I might add that I think we need more stimulus now, just to be fair. Which I think should push things along. But, you know, we look at it and we say, people ask us all the time, Andrew, what should we do? Should we buy now or should we wait? The reality of it is this. Even we know that it's cycles. We know that right now it's at a peak. And yes, there may be a trough, but you're buying a property which is in most cases a long-term hold. So it doesn't matter if we're going to see a dip, if we're going to see a change. You don't buy a house to sell it. You buy it to live in it and enjoy it with the family. And most people will stay there for 10, 15 years. So in that time, we're going to see a couple of cycles, correct?
I completely agree, Jim. Unless you're an astute investor that's looking to flip homes and you're trying to predict exactly what the market's going to do, best of luck to you. But if you're looking to buy a family home, it's irrelevant. You know, we always say that if you're looking to buy a property today and keep for the next 10, 15 years, same thing as our client today in Swindon Crescent. You know, he bought that home around $460,000 8 years ago and just sold for $899. And I remember when I sold that property to him, he was competing with another 3 or 4 buyers at that time.
Yes.
And he stretched himself at that point, right? And he's like, oh, I'm out. I said, Ev, I'm telling you, you won't regret it. And today, the exact same thing to me, right? So that's just the way real estate works.
And you know what? It'll be exactly the same for John, for the fella that bought it today.
Spot on.
In a few years' time, you know, if they ever decide to sell, people will be competing for it again because it's well located, it's beautifully presented, and as long as they maintain it and do what they have to do, it'll always be a good home, right? So all of those things come into play. But Andrew, you know, that's been the week that was heading into lockdown 6. Now, you know, someone asked me today, oh, do you think we'll be out of lockdown in a week? Well, if we look at the lockdown that we had in June, at the start of June, Andrew, That one was supposed to be a 1 week lockdown, and we ended up 2 weeks. We ended up 14 days. And then the one that we just went through, lockdown 5, was supposed to be 5 days. We ended up 12. They've now told us 7 days. Who knows, right? We're not going to know until during the week. The reality of it is this. We've got one auction scheduled for next Saturday, number 3 Akeshaw, which I think, Andrew, will probably end up postponing, right?
Yep, correct.
Because that property hasn't had the time to have people look at it. What's that?
Only 2 opens, unfortunately, for that vendor.
Yeah, right. So, what do you do? So reality is, whilst we've been busy the week before, bit of a lockdown, we were busy for the first week of the lockdown, then we quietened down again as far as activity goes. Same thing this time. Busy today, busy yesterday, and probably will be busy early this week, tying up loose ends for people that have seen homes. But then after that, for us, it's going to quieten down as far as tying up transactions goes. But we'll be available, Andrew, to do remote appraisals and help people with any queries, correct?
Yeah, 100% spot on, Jim. And as I've mentioned previously, to all those buyers looking to secure a property, now is a great time to get in touch with us. Shoot us an email with your property requirements, through Facebook, Instagram, which way you like. And we're here to help, because now is the best time to get in touch with us. Simple as that. Yeah,
exactly right. So, folks, that's been the week. If I could, respectfully, just finish off by saying, we touched at the start of today's video about how tough people in hospitality are doing it. The one thing that I will say, if you can find it in yourself, please support local. Please support the many, many local cafes, restaurants and businesses. If you can, know that we're all at home and we're all cooking at home and spending time with our families. But if you can find it in yourself to be able to support some of these businesses that are really, really struggling and really affected by being locked down. So if you're able to, grab a pizza, get some takeaway, get a kebab, get some chicken, get whatever it is that rocks your family. But more importantly, please try to support local. When you're going for your walk, stop and grab a coffee. That $4 is going to make a difference to everybody that's trying hard to pay the rent, keep their staff. And so please, if we can all do that, it'll help everybody. So other than that, stay well, everyone.
Mate, well said, Jimmy, well said. And we're all here to support everyone. So if you ever need to reach out for the next 7 days, feel free to reach out as always. Apart from that, everyone, enjoy the rest of the evening, and we'll definitely be in touch.
Stay well, Andrew.
See you, Jim.
See you, buddy.
Bye-bye.